them in a second. Number to call in, 888-710-4ISM. But first, Justin Rocke joins us with some sports updates. What's up, Justin?
Doing well, EJ. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
Thank you guys so much for having me today. Hey, folks, a reminder, don't miss any of the action this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME and get a $50 bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. The Lions and Ravens Monday Night Football. We were expecting an entertaining ball game, and we got exactly that. The Lions pick up over 200 yards on the ground and through the air. The Ravens squander another fourth-quarter lead in Detroit's 38-30 victory. Dan Campbell, as we were just talking about, no stranger to rolling the dice on fourth downs. Did it 3 times on Monday, converted all 3. Bogish a few moments ago called them you-know-whats. ESPN's Troy Aikman stealing a Bill Rafteryism to describe the Detroit head coach.
Yeah, and 4th and 2, and the Lions, Troy, look like they're going to go for it. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down tries in this game.
Yeah, maybe they try to hard count, draw them off sides, but didn't appear to be any hesitation from Dan Campbell. Not surprised. He's got big onions. I mean, this is a bold move. Even with a first down, they cannot run out the clock because the Ravens still have all 3 timeouts.
Now, I had an FCC Peopleati dump button thought when Troy Aikman said this last night.
Really?
Well, because obviously when Raftery just goes, onions, we know what he's talking about. I just said, like, have the onions. But, like, he specifically said that Dan Campbell has big ones. And I didn't know
big onions.
if that stepped into a weird realm of inappropriate.
Well, how do you know that perhaps in the production meeting they were talking about how
his
maybe
anatomy?
How he buys produce, and maybe they're talking about actual
gotcha.
Vidalia onions.
Layers. Onions have layers.
Yeah,
they do.
Big Shrek guy.
Because there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of rules that are like logical or not. Like you are allowed to say. When you talk about bathroom stuff, you can talk about the bathroom, but you can't say that you did something on someone. That's a problem.
Like pissed off, but not.
Right. You
Yeah.
can't change off to on in that
Right,
sentence. That's
exactly.
that's the line. So it's one thing to go, man, those are some onions when somebody's talking about like being risky or confident. But when you say Dan Campbell has big onions, it just like I perked up for a second.
Now, it's funny because like I didn't know why it sounded weird to me.
But it did sound weird, right?
I assumed it was just because it was Troy Aikman.
Maybe.
But then you're making the point that, yes, he did add like some adjectives and some things that made it different than how Bill Raftery does it. So that does make sense to me. But then my other head thought, well, this is, I don't know, it's 11 o'clock at night at this point, or 10 o'clock, like, or we
and
passed?
they were on one last night.
they
Those two
were-
guys.
Harbor hours?
Yeah, they were on one. Henrietta.
Troy was having some fun last night.
Yeah, Henrietta Troy.
I was going to cut that too. Yeah, no, I have that. I emailed that to myself too.
Yeah,
we'll
those
have
guys.
that later.
And I don't know what it is, but it feels like they have hit a new gear as a combo. I don't know. I
agree.
I like them on Fox, but there was a time where early on when it was them and the Manning cast, I would have given the Manning cast a lot more time. I didn't until like the fourth quarter to see what the Manning cast was doing. I went right back to Troy and Buck. I had no interest in continuing.
They
with the
felt
Manning
a little bit more corporate when they were on Fox. It
Yeah.
seems like over the years, as they've gotten more and more comfortable on ESPN, Joe and now Troy has followed suit in terms of just letting themselves be who they are and just trying to have fun and enjoy themselves during the broadcast. And I feel a lot of times as a broadcaster, if we're having fun doing what we're doing, it sort of translates to the listener. And I think it's been great for the broadcast on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because I think Buck has always had this in him. I'm wondering if Troy was the slower adapter to being like loose and fun.
We
and
say that,
like
but
relaxing a little bit.
That's true, but then Troy, when he gets in these like interviews with like local media or just radio shows, whatever, he says a lot. Like
It's true.
He lets the chopper ring a little bit. So it is surprising that I agree. As a color analyst for a lot of his career, he was very buttoned up. That guy is gone. I don't know if he saw the Jay-Z meme and thought, you know what? I look like Hove. I might as well just start talking like him and just say whatever I want. I don't know.
Come on, Daddy.
Justin, what else you got here?
Oh, Derrick Henry had another costly fumble in the fourth quarter, his third fumble in as many games, and understandably, Derrick was dejected post-game.
Crazy right now. 3 games straight. That happened in my career. Straight fumbles in critical moment. Yeah, ain't a good feeling. I apologize to Rock Nation, and I just gonna keep working and get this fixed.
How great was he falling down the bench after slamming his helmet down?
It was sort of like Odell Beckham a couple of years ago when he got so mad coming off the field he tried kicking the field goal net, and the net just toppled on top of it. It gave that vibe.
It did.
Yeah, but in some ways, I actually appreciated it more because I like when you're so perfect in your crash out. In some ways, it almost feels like not rehearsed, but almost like performative. Like this was very clear. He was like outside of his body. He was outside of his mind. He could not believe he had fumbled. This is a guy who's one of the more coordinated.
It was the most I felt like Derrick Henry in my life.
Yeah, no, seriously. This is one of the most like coordinated
slamming the
athletes
helmet
in the
on
world.
the bench and then just like awkwardly falling and sort of like planting himself on the bench to make it look like he did it on purpose.
Because I
Sounds
can't
like Justin
fumble in a
had
big
it.
spot.
No.
But I can fall.
Sounds like Rocke had him in fantasy football, and he lost his weekend.
I actually do not have Derrick Henry. I think I'm good after the fumbles, but
I do still want.
I can relate to Derrick Henry as someone who is extremely uncoordinated, trying to do things in a bit of frustration, and then just completely whiffing and making myself even more embarrassed than I was prior to it.
Cut yourself some slack. I saw some celebration video of you going crazy with the Brooklyn Cyclones, man. I see some coordination in that jumping around.
Yeah, they gave me my champagne bath celebration, which was very unexpected but very cool.
Are we still calling this the Sally League?
I threw a Sally League.
Okay.
Not in the final call of the championship game last week, but it's gone a little more corporate with just South Atlantic League, but it's still colloquially called the Sally League.
So the Mets might not make the playoffs altogether, but the baby Mets in Brooklyn are champs.
Yeah, the champions.
And the Rumble Ponies are still playing?
They are still playing. They are playing Game 2 of the Eastern League Championship Series tonight.
Hey, all right. 2030 might be up for the
Future's
Mets.
bright. Let's go.
2030.
Sit tight.
The best thing I can say to Mets fans out there, you hope with the way things are going that in 2 to 3 years you look back on what has happened over the last 3 months and you can laugh about it. Easier to say now than, easier to say then than now.
Yes, or the other side is perhaps these minor leaguers that are actually winning something would then be traded for aging players who will lose for the Mets as they do most September.
That is one way to look at it, EJ.
Yeah, I hope that.
That's coming from a Mets fan. I didn't even say that.
I mean, this is the world we're in, guys. I'm wearing a Mets chain, but this is the world we're in, right? 888-710-4ISN. Justin, thank you so much. We do have to get to the Cowboys.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. We do got to get to the Cowboys because Jerry Jones.
Because they're the Cowboys.
Yeah, and because Jerry Jones keeps talking. What did he say next that scratches your head? Your guess is as good as ours, but we'll tell you in a bit. It's EJ and Bogish in for Maggie and Perloff.